Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right. So we are talking about the Toronto Raptors keeping their season alive. Uh, they were down 0-3, even though I thought they were down 2-1 or whatever the heck I doubt. They were down in the game video that I made just about 3 hours ago, not realizing the game was so soon. So I didn't have time to really prep. I just wanted to hurry up and make sure I made a video to stay consistent. And yeah, I wasn't quite certain of the details like I wanted to be, but nevertheless, they had their backs against the wall, and they came out and were just really playing so very well to the momentum of the crowd. You got to give Pascal Siakam all the credit in the world for just being bounce back player of the playoffs. You know, in from one game to the next, when you consider how poorly he looked in the previous matchup, Game 3, and then came out tonight and had his playoff career high, 34 points with 15 of them in the fourth quarter. Gary Trent Jr. stepped up big as well. You can see he's starting to get better and better in terms of his condition and bouncing back from that injury, and he was really good tonight for his team. And you just saw good things in the fourth quarter. That's what really stood out to me, was how both teams played in the fourth quarter. Toronto was excellent, playing to the momentum of the crowd, and the Philadelphia 76ers were stagnant and couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. They were putrid in the fourth quarter, both defensively and offensively. They couldn't stop Pascal Siakam, and everything they were trying to do was not working. Too much jump shooting, too much away from the basket, as we talked about in the video. They need to get more points in the paint. There's no reason for the Toronto Raptors to have more interior points than the Philadelphia 76ers. They should not have a rebounding edge on the Philadelphia 76ers. The fact of the matter is, we saw where Philly is going to have trouble going forward, because that hand, Joel's thumb, is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. You can see him holding it, and he was laboring to it throughout the entire game. And I'll tell you something else. Getting a feel for just how things could possibly be, I'm looking at the Philadelphia 76ers and I'm saying to myself, if ever there was a team that looked like they're in a bad situation being up 3-1, it's them. Why? Because they are now dealing with their best player having an injury he's going to try to play through, which may make him a liability in some ways. They're going to be relying upon players that they don't want to rely upon in this situation. That probably gives them some disadvantages matchup-wise against a team I don't think they match up with well to begin with. The only reason why they have this lead on this team is because they've missed some key players in this series. And that's really what it's about. Toronto's just been decimated by injuries. But Scotty Barnes is playing. He came back today after winning Rookie of the Year. Congratulations once again. And he was able to boost the team to some degree. He wasn't his normal self, giving you his normal production, but that's to be understood. He's going to try to, bull through this injury, and I commend him for that as a rookie. That's fantastic. That's why he's the Rookie of the Year, amongst other things as well, of course. So we look at him and say, okay, he's coming back. OG Anunoby's getting healthier by the second. As we know, he's fighting his way back from injury and should be almost at 100%, if not right there. You know what I mean? Now, the thing about the Toronto Raptors is they're still in trouble because they lost Fred VanVleet. I don't know how bad this injury is, but it definitely left him in a whole lot of pain. So it's some sort of leg injury. We will keep you posted as we find out more. I'm sure they're going to do MRIs and all that. But looking at how he was not able to return, he's not looking good for the next game. So that's as much as I'm sure of. At this point, you can definitely see where they're going to have other guys that can step up. Particularly, you're looking at them maybe reaching in their bench and maybe playing a guy like Johnny Flynn. I don't know if I got his name right, to be honest with you, but I believe I did. Malachi Flynn, excuse me, not Johnny Flynn. That's somebody from the past, but Malachi Flynn is somebody that I think they can use at that point guard position, who's a good player. When you look him up and see what his scouting was about and what type of player he can be, he could certainly contribute shooting the ball. And just overall, just being someone down there that they can rely upon to give them a boost scoring the basketball. But all in all, I don't think that Toronto is out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, given the fact that they're down 3-1, not up down 3-1. But I will tell you this: if I was to ever bet on a team having an opportunity to extend a series in this situation, this would be that. The matchups just simply favor Toronto, in my opinion. And Joel's situation is bad because it really is something that he's going to either have to play through or get surgery on. It's one or the other. So if he decides to sit out or rest it or what have you, it's still torn. When he comes back, he's still going to deal with the same things. And you can see it affecting his shooting, his free throw shooting. You can see it affecting how he's attacking the rim. And he's going to have to adjust. He's going to have to adjust, and he's going to have to understand that the adjustment that he needs to make is not going to allow for him to protect himself the way he needs to. Either you sit this thing out or you start preparing for what it looks like to do further damage. That's the only smart way to play this. You don't go into the situation assuming that everything's going to be just manageable. You have to think basically pessimistically as it pertains to this tear. In order to not be caught off guard by things actually going completely wrong. And what I harken back to is Kobe Bryant, who played with a broken finger. Obviously, he did not, regret that because he ended up winning the championship on that broken finger, but his efficiency was never the same. Just simply never the same. He missed a lot of shots after that. And I'm not saying this is the same injury or even close, but you can say when you start messing around with your hands, hey, you're going to need your digits to shoot the ball. This is his shooting hand, and he's going to need to carry this franchise for the next however many years or whatever franchise he ends up on. So this is not something you want to think short-term about. This is not something you want to think short-sighted about. I do understand this is the playoffs, so playing through it, hey, commendable. I get it. That makes sense, but just make sure you understand, Philadelphia, that this is going to be something that lingers. And it is something that you're going to have to deal with as years progress if he doesn't let it heal properly, in my opinion. And I'm not a medical professional, but I've seen a lot of hand injuries in basketball, and this is his shooting hand. Simple as that. And they're going to be swinging at it, swiping at it. They know it's hurt, and it's a big target. That's a big mitten he got there, man. So I don't know. I don't envy Philadelphia's situation there. Even though they're up in this series, as Isaiah Thomas pointed out just now on Game Time, I don't like them going forward. I think it was either Isaiah Thomas or Steve Smith. I was just watching them both. And they essentially agreed, I'm sure, that this doesn't bode well for them winning the Eastern Conference. So I'd have to agree. I agree with the guys on Game Time. This is just a situation where even though they have James Harden and Tyrese Maxey's turned into a star, and Tobias Harris is playing great basketball, including tonight where I thought he shined. All in all, they just don't seem to be able to function in a way that allows him to have consistent scoring without Joel being his natural self. And so you had a game where James Harden played well. He scored and facilitated. He wasn't a problem as far as I could tell. But they didn't get enough out of Tyrese Maxey scoring the ball tonight. I think he had 11, 6, and 6, which is cool, but that's not enough. In a game like this, you need guys to step up and understand, hey, in order to close a team out, you need everybody to have confidence that it's something that should and can be done. You can't come in tentative because you got bad news on the big guy's hands. You're up in the series, and the best thing you can do for that hand is to ensure you're not playing extra basketball. So I was a little disappointed in Philadelphia's urgency as it pertains to forcing the issue on a team that's had its back against the wall and hasn't been playing well. You let a guy like Pascal Siakam, who struggled in the last game, come in and have the game of his life. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there and I'm watching him like, okay, you're having trouble scoring. No problem. That happens. Sometimes, it just happens. But are you giving the ball to guys who had it going? I look at the people who had the best plus minus, and those are guys that didn't have any minutes. It's like, Shake Milton had it going a little bit. You want to try him since nobody else can hit a shot? I mean, that's what you want Doc Rivers to do in a situation where you can just see guys are not making these shots. You see all these jump shots. everybody's trying to, uh, you know, I think Toronto, you have to give them credit for pushing Philadelphia out of the paint and keeping them out of their paint. But you got to force the issue. I mean, that's what it comes down to. A guy like Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, force the issue. Get to the line. Because you best believe Pascal Siakam was getting to the line and they were hitting their free throws. So Toronto did not shoot the ball very well from three. They've had issues with that in terms of their efficiency. And they were able to get away with it tonight. So I would imagine they're going to try to work on that. And with some of these players that, like Gary Trent Jr. getting in better shape, that's where the shooting's going to come from, I think. But you got to give credit to Pascal Siakam. He killer instinct. Simple as that. He didn't want his season to end. He know he played bad. He stunk it up. He embarrassed himself. He made up for it. Simple as that. I challenged y'all, Toronto. I said it. You say you the North, show me. Because I ain't seeing it. That's how I felt about it. Through 3 games, I ain't seeing it. I ain't seeing that pride. And I just felt like, they had an opportunity here. The matchup still, in my opinion, favor them. And now that they have Scotty back, things are going to start falling into place for this Toronto team. The only problem is the biggest problem. And that is, they don't have any more games to lose. So even if they play well, if they happen to slip, it's over. And that's why you can't drop games. That's why it's so important to put that effort out there. That's why it's so important not to take anything for granted in the playoffs. So that's what I'm saying here. Now, since there's more basketball to play, you got to consider Joel Embiid. Is he going to play the next game? He was really laboring on that finger. He said he wanted to continue playing, but he's looking around like he's waiting for somebody to come through and tell him it's okay. It ain't. It ain't. They're going to keep swiping at it, bro. Like straight up and down. You better get used to that. Whatever it is that you're feeling, it's only gonna get worse. I'm not that guy that's gonna lie about that. But I do believe that it's commendable that he's playing. I think it's what the team needs, and Philadelphia should honor him because of, give him a break next time he struggles. Because remember, he's playing through this right now in the playoffs for y'all. So let that be known. Again, I can commend Tobias Harris for just playing a great two-way game. I think at this point in time, he's playing the best basketball I've ever seen him play. Even today, like I said, he shined in situations, both defensively and offensively. So as he continues to show them that he's a viable piece, I know they're not in love with his contract, but he's showing up in these playoffs. Let it be known. So, all in all, Philly, killer instinct, didn't exist. Very disappointing. I did not like how tentative y'all looked. You didn't look like a team that could actually win a championship tonight at all. You looked like a team that was shaken by bad news, a team that was expecting a Toronto team to come back and give you an opportunity to just let you move on. And that is not what's going to happen. Toronto came in, forced the issue. Trent healthy, Anunoby's healthy, Barnes healthy. All these different issues. Thaddeus Young is finding his confidence. He's playing well, shook off his injury. Boucher got involved in the offensive game, for which I said needed to happen in the previous video. Get him more looks. Hit his three-point shot, as I said, should happen. Block some shots as well. He played a good game. So when you consider all that, they get that type of production from Toronto, have a chance to win. Now, with Fred VanVleet being out, that is a massive deal. But I can argue it'll probably be better. Why? Because he sucked. Straight up. He has been garbage, and he knows it. He even tore his shirt. He knew he hadn't been playing well. He knew that injury was going to probably hold him out too. So hopefully what ends up happening is he's able to heal. They'll be able to extend, and he can come back and hopefully have shaked off whatever has kept him playing so poorly. But if anybody's been disappointing in these entire playoffs, you can point at him too, because he's been bad. So Pascal made up for it. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and that's just how that goes. So Toronto is still around, and I'm pretty sure everybody who's hurt will be getting treatment. Try to make sure they'll be ready for the next game, of course. Precious Achiuwa also needs to be mentioned, because even though his number wasn't called very much for Toronto, what I saw from him was a big play down the stretch. Really, really big momentum plays, displaying his really talent, athleticism, and his ability to just kind of dance a little bit down there. So, as he continues to ascend in his abilities, I expect him to take on a bigger role. And it's a good experience for him in the playoffs. So that's what I got to say, man. There was something else that I wanted to mention. I know something stood out. Nick Nurse did something, or somebody did something coaching wise. I don't know. There was a little bit of a melee in this game between a few players. I know OG Anunoby was involved in it. I think it was Gary Trent had gotten into it on one side. I don't remember who all it was. I'm sorry. But just know that the temperature was high in this one, and that Toronto wasn't going to be backing down. People spent a lot of time on the floor. A lot of physicality in this game. You know, as we said, Pascal Siakam got to the line, I believe, 20 times, made like 18 of them. So you got to commend guys for getting to the line and making sure they press the issue and played big. You know, gave themselves a size advantage with more big players on the floor. And if they keep coming at Philadelphia with these forwards, the idea that I had at the beginning of this series when I said Toronto is too much for Philly is going to be a dynamic that you guys start seeing right now. So I don't know if that's going to translate to them winning every game, for which they definitely need to do. But I'm telling you, they're going to have sequences in this series going forward where they're going to have Philly's number just like they did tonight. Unless Philly comes out and jumps on top of them in each and every one of these games, obviously it's game 2 game, but they're going to have to jump on top of them in game 5. If they do not, it don't matter what building it's in. At this point, you got a team with confidence. At this point, you got a team that's a little bit healthier than you've seen them be. And I'm telling you, this series is probably not even over. It's probably not. So Philly better jump on this team early and blow them out if they can. I don't care if that hand is falling off. You better dunk with your left. Get them out of here. Because if this continues, there's something called COVID protocol that you also need to know is looming. You do not want something weird to start happening in these series teams. I'm telling you, end it. Do not allow yourself to have to play extra basketball. So that's what I got to say. Speaking of extra basketball, I'm going to go watch some. You guys enjoy your day. My name is PDL44.